Well, hello, family and friends, fellow YouTubers. Want to welcome you to Jim's In Town Gardening and also Bella's Legacy Rabbitry. I'm out in the bunny barn. It's where I spend a lot of time. If I'm not preparing sermon messages or all the other stuff, this is where I am. Love being out here. I'm right beside Daisy's cage. Whoop, easy, honey, easy. She's not real happy with me. I just put a little feeder in for the babies. They've been spending quite a bit of time out. Let me see if I raise this camera up. She's a good girl, but boy, she is protective of her babies. In other videos, I've mentioned that I have their feeder right here, but it's quite a ways off the ground. You know, the does, the bucks, they don't have any problem with it, but the little ones, it's hard for them to reach there. So I put one of these feeders in. I think you can see that, one of the Katie feeders. And that way they can, the little ones can get in there and nibble. This is their first time with it. I just put it in, and that's why Daisy's a little bit frustrated with me. She wanted to start thrashing it around, but there was one you could see that started. I'll give them a few minutes, and I think they'll come back. They'll come back out. That one wants to snitch some milk. She is a superb mom, but she doesn't like anybody being in that cage when she's got the little ones in there. I mean, she's been a lot better this year, or this litter. Hey, sweetheart. Usually she'll settle down for me. So I've been asking my followers to ask some questions, and I have a few channels that have been doing that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one video of just answering some of those questions. Possibly even do it live. I've got to set my computer up so I can do live videos, and also my cell phone. So I might do that here in the next couple days. So one thing that I want to do today is, Fawn's babies are 6 weeks old today, so I want to weigh those. She's the one that had the 3. So I can show you how we do that. Normally Leanne and I do this together, but she's busy in the house. She's taken down Christmas decorations. She's been so busy. We had a lot of things going on. She also made 40 masks for her daughter and grandson and her husband and daughter. So she's been busy doing that. Okay, so what I've got is a baby scale. Let's see. I don't know if you're going to be able to read that. Anyways, what you do is turn it on. It will zero out. Hey, sweetie. Easy, baby. You guys are so friendly. Okay, so this will be the first one. Hopefully you can see the number on the scale. Hey, little one. What are you doing? What are you doing? And there's a possibility that these guys may even be sold. I've got a couple people interested. Okay, 3.6 and a half. Hi, sweetie. 3.6 and a half. Now, usually what I do with these guys is I make of them. When I take them out, I try to make of them for a few minutes just to let them know they're not going to be hurt. Set them down. 3.6 and a half. This one's 3.6. lighter colored one. And she's a little bit smaller, I think. I should have sexed these while I was at it. Usually the 5th and 6th week, I have better luck sexing them than I do on 8 weeks. Hey, baby. And you're just 3 pounds. Okay, so usually when we're out here, I'll take them out. Leanna will make sure that the scale is set to go. I'll place the bunny on there. She'll record it, and then she goes in, averages it all out, and it's recorded into the book. You know, I've stressed often, good record keeping is so important. I'm a little disappointed on Fawn. Only the 3 babies, and their weights, with her only feeding 3, I thought they would have been up a lot better than that. Now, this is a doe that is overweight, and she's not a very old doe, and I'm going to blame me for this. She's a girl that likes to eat. I know I tried to push her, you know, getting her, I wanted a big rabbit, but I didn't want a fat rabbit, and she's big. So the number size is probably my fault. Now, where these guys are, I want to keep as much food for my young ones as they'll eat. Of course, mom's going to eat too. So I will probably wean her in the next few days. And like I said, these guys are 6 weeks old. I'll probably take her out, and I will cut her feed back. And I will breed her back a lot earlier than I normally will. I'm going to take a guess, somewhere around 10 weeks. I will breed her back. 'Cause I've got to keep the weight off her. So anyways, so what do we have? 3 6.5, 3 6, and 3 pounds. So I got to remember that. I'm getting older. I don't remember as well as I used to. Okay, so Daisy's babies are still in the nest box, but let's take a look at Mandy's babies. Give me just a second so I can raise this camera back up. There you go. Okay, so you can see her bundles of cuteness. What a terrific mom she has been. You know, I can do anything with her. I mean, I have had that nest box out a lot of times, once a day, just checking on them and admiring them. She doesn't care. She's fed them so nicely. Can you slide over this way, sweetie, so everybody can see your babies? That a girl. So you can see they're pigging out in the food. She's got 6 babies. She's one of those mothers you just love to have. She's just so calm. Does what you need him to do. She just does a good job. Now, Mandy's babies, let's see, I will weigh those on the 9th of this month. That will be their 4 week. They'll be 4 weeks old. Hi, sweethearts. Oh, what babies. And these guys are usually very, very, very calm. I've handled these guys quite a bit. Leanna handles them quite a bit when she comes out. Hi, little babies. Hi, little babies. But they've been eating good, nibbling on hay, eating the pellets. Happy little babies. Now, I mentioned keeping good records. I've got this out in the barn. Let me bring it back a little bit so I can get everything in. This way I can keep track. I know what I have to do out here if I'm coming in to, when I do chores, I can look at this and it kind of gives me an idea, when they had their babies, when I have to put a nest box in, when I need to weigh them in. But Leanna also has books inside where each individual doe, each individual buck has its own record. And one of these videos, what I'm going to probably do is show you how we do that, because I think it's very, very important. Now, there's all kinds of websites where you can download those charts for free. But if you sent me your email address, I could send those out to you, so you'd have them. So very, very, very important. I want to know, and especially with my Rexes, because most of the girls that I bought are their offspring. Their first offspring would have been a particular buck, and I have to be very, very careful when I go into. Anyways, it's so important to have good records. Keep really, really good records. When I breed a doe, first of all, I do a grooming. That usually calms them down before I put them in with the boy. I trim their nails. There we go. Ear check, fur check. Make sure they're clean down below. Just do an overall check of the doe, because I want to make sure that, there's no issues. Normally the day before, I'll have the buck out. I'll have his nails trimmed, because I know when I'm going to breed. Trim his, make sure he's all clean down there. Check his ears, check his teeth. But I do a weigh-in. I'll do a weigh-in with the buck. And then when I do the grooming with the doe, usually I'll put the doe in the cage with the buck. And then before I put her back in her own cage, I'll do a weigh-up. And I compare that to where she was when I bred her the last time. Periodically, I will do a weigh-in. If I haven't bred the doe for a while, and I'm doing my month trimming of the nails or whatever, I'll have my scale in here, and to me, I want to know where they are. How are they doing on their weight? I've got some does that I know that I got to work on. I've got to get them slendered down. Mandy, being one, she's chowed down a lot. I've got the grain in for the babies, and so I'm going to have to reduce her weight a little bit. Now with Melania, Melania's bred. I bred 3 does. When did I do that? I can tell you in just a second, because I've got records out here. Sugar was bred back. She was bred back January. No, that's nest box. Okay, she doesn't have what I wanted out here. Her nest box goes in, so you can figure it out. 31 days from the 20th, January 20th. I bred Sugar. I bred Melania. This will be Melania's first breeding for quite a while, because I needed to get some weight on her. And I bred Baby back. So those are all due January 23rd, 21. Then I bred Lily. Lily is my Rex, my white Rex doe. This is her first breeding. I bred her, 8 days later. So her due date is January 31st. I also bred one of the Lionheads, Molly. Her due date is on the 31st. So I've got 2 other does that I'm going to breed, actually 3. Mocha, my chocolate Rex, I'm going to breed her back here probably 3 to 4 weeks. And then another one, this will be a new doe, Layla. She's a lavender Rex. This will be her first breeding. And then Benji, who's my other lion head. And that will probably be, like I said, 3 or 4 weeks. See what happens here, see what the interest is. With my pet rabbits, I've really laid off. I haven't had any pet rabbits other than Samson for sale for quite a while. Midnight is for sale. If she goes, she goes. If not, she'll live a happy life here. Same with Hope. Hope is the rescue, the little white mini Rex. I've just laid off on breeding the pet rabbits because, here in Maine, there's a lot of, it's been hard for a lot of people, and we're getting into winter, so people are either buying firewood, they're buying wood pellets, or propane, or kerosene, or fuel oil for their furnaces. Typically, and we just got done with Christmas, so I've kind of been waiting and find out what happens with the economy up here, because it's hard when you've got to hold on to a whole bunch of baby rabbits who then turn into adult rabbits. I'm just trying to be careful. They've had a good long break. When you do that, you've got to be careful with weight. For those who raise rabbits, it's so easy to just keep them happy, keep them fed. When you're breeding, if you've got the demand, you can keep that weight on by, breeding. And I don't mean keep them pregnant all the time. Hopefully everybody understands what I'm trying to say there. Now, getting back to the questions, I've had a lot of really, really good questions. And some of these are bigger channels. And I want to thank you for taking the time to look at this little channel and see what we're doing here. I thank you. I thank you so much that you could take the time to do that and to ask the questions. Maybe some of these bigger channels are thinking, maybe we'll get into rabbits. Rabbits, they're easy to raise. They're really easy to raise, as long as you stick to some guidelines. My rabbits are healthy, so I don't have big, expensive vet bills. I take care of my rabbits. I watch them. Now, does that mean that I'm never going to have a sick rabbit? No, I'm going to have sick rabbits at times. Another thing that I'd like to get into on a video is things to look for when you go to somebody's rabbitry. Number one, if you hear snuffles, if I went into a barn and I heard rabbits sneezing, I would probably walk out and I wouldn't buy from there. The other thing is, if you get a rabbit, keep it quarantined for a little bit, just to make sure that it's okay. You don't want to bring anything in. I can't tell you exactly, because of the babies, how many rabbits I've got right now. I've got 38 cages, and let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 empties. So you can't just say, oh, okay, you got that many, because I've got babies. I've got, let's see, a litter of 6, a litter of 3, and a litter of 7. Yeah, I could figure out the math, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be lazy. I think I've got these 2 sold, and we'll do that tomorrow in tomorrow's video. My New Zealand does. I think that these 2 are sold. Possibly the buck, Sugar's buck. I've got these gorgeous 3 and Misty. Those 4, those are still for sale. Those are gorgeous. And then the 3 boys. Those are the Rex New Zealand crosses. And I'll do that in a video tomorrow. I empty out those cages. You know, I know how I'm going to do that. When these two go, this cage will get completely cleaned out. Sugar will move into this cage. She's expecting more babies. I want my litters down this end. Baby, my New Zealand, will come into this cage. And then Lily will go, actually, I'm not sure where I'll bring Lily. I want to get Lily out of the 30 by 30 and into a 30 by 36. You know, so this is something that I've got in my mind going all the time. You know, with Sugar, I know I could have her anywhere in this barn and she'll do a good job with her babies. And normally her babies are very, very easygoing, you know, so I could have her in a bottom cage, knowing that she's not going to get quite as much attention as somebody up here or here. I could do the same with Baby. Fawn would probably be all right too. Mandy has had babies in the bottom cage before. First litter she had on this farm, she had them down below, and she did a good job. She's just such an easygoing mother. Just a relaxed, well-natured rabbit. She's probably one of my calmest rabbits. A lot like Sugar. Sugar's calm, but Sugar wants to have her food. When you're doing food, she wants it then. She's one that will eat the cage. Mandy, she's just a calm bunny. So there's all kinds of things that I you know, how am I going to move who's going to be best, you know, in this certain spot. But one of the videos that I'm going to do right off, it may be an extra video this week, depending on what's going on. I know tomorrow I'm going and I'm buying probably 3 more months worth of grain. I want to be well stocked. Who knows what's going to happen here in the next couple weeks. I want my grain. I've got plenty of fuel on hand. But my grain for my chickens, the grain for the rabbits, I want to have plenty. There's some supplements that I'm going to buy too. Now, I had another gentleman that asked me if I could show the Rabbitry. Well, I've pretty much shown the Rabbitry other than the entryway, and the only reason I haven't shown the entryway is because I haven't finished it. Right now, it's a catch-all. So if we get a warm streak again, and I'm not super busy, I can get that done. I can get my workbench set up, hang my tools up, because there are parts of the Rabbitry that are out there. My water source is out there. I've got a 55-gallon drum, and then I've got a 30-gallon drum. That's where I get my water. I've got an old freezer out there. That's where I store most of my grain. My hay I had in there, now it's up in the loft. There's probably 6 bales left. That's another thing I got to do is get hay. That will all be going to the back of me. There'll be another addition added next year. All my grain, all my hay will be stored out there. That will be just a workshop. Because I need that room. If I'm going to do my own stuff, I've got to have room to do it. So anyways, when I get that cleaned up, I'll do that. I'll show you that there. You know, what I've got is a very easy setup to work in, other than I wish it was wider. And the only reason it's not wider, I lose about 1.5 feet on this side. And with some of the cages, I lose almost 2 feet on this side. And it's because of how my rafters come down. My cages are right up against there. So, you know, if I had put this on blocks, you know, got it up there a foot, I could have had these cages all the way against the wall, and it would have given me a lot more feet. You know, you take 3 feet, 2.5, 3 feet. Would have been a lot more room to work with. But I mean, pretty much what you see is what it is. But I'll do a video showing that. You know, maybe we'll go down and I can show you each individual rabbit, where they are, you know, whether they're nursing, and, you know, my bucks, my grow outs. You know, this coming late spring, I can show you a lot more things that I do. You know, my cages that I use so that they can be outside. I'm going to add cages along the south side of this barn. And that's going to be for my grow outs. But also I want those cages so that, let's say I want to take this set of 3 cages out. I can take that doe, I can take this buck, I can take that doe or that buck, put those in the cages out there. This whole section can come out. I can totally clean it, sanitize it, you know, do any repairs that I need to, you know, feeders, waters, totally cleaned, totally sanitized, and bring it back in. I can put each animal back, take the next section out. That's what I want to do this year. And it gives me a chance to have, you know, some of the rabbits, you know, my grow outs, or if I'm raising, you know, like one of these guys, you sweeties, you know, let's say, now these guys were born in September. Let's say I wanted to raise these up and I wanted to sell them as breeders, you know, and even bred. It gives me the chance to do that, and not tying up a cage in here. Hey, sweetie. Good babies. So, anyways, I've got a lot of ideas. You know, I like raising my young stock outside. It gives them a chance to, you know, they get their grain. I still give them hay, but it gives them some grass. It gives them the fresh air. You got to be careful with the heat. But, you know, another thing is the nest boxes. Periodically, I'll put together another nest box. You know, if that's something you're getting into rabbits and you don't want to go to Tractor Supply or some of these other places and buy it, and you've got some scrap plywood, you know, I could draw out what I use. These would be the fairly good size. These are, what, 20? Can't remember if they're 20 or 21 inches long. It's the size that I use for my New Zealands and also my Rexes. You know, I could send a pattern. It's so simple, so easy to make. If you've got scrap wood. So these are all things that I'm hoping to do in the future. Again, if you've got any questions, please write them down in the comment box. I'm going to take all these questions. I'm going to put them together, and maybe I'll do a live video. I thought I could do it on this phone. I know my laptop, I've done live before, way back, probably 2.5 years ago. I tried to do it with this phone, and I can't do it with my computer. So what I'm seeing is there's some programs that you can download that are free, and maybe that's what I'll do. So anyways, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I went a half hour. Hope everybody has a very, very blessed, safe, happy New Year. Hope things go well. Stay safe. Stay safe. Love you guys. God bless you. Thank you so much for your support.